reading from the Holy Gospel according to John, chapter 8, beginning at the 21st verse. Jesus said to the Pharisees, "I am going away, and you will search for me, but you will die in your sin. Where I am going, you cannot come." Then the Jews said, "Is he going to kill himself? Is that what he means by saying, 'Where I am going, you cannot come'?" He said to them, "You are from below, I am from above. You are of this world, I am not of this world. I told you that you would die in your sins, for you will die in your sins unless you believe that I am he." They said to him, "Who are you?" Jesus said to them, "Why do I speak to you at all? I have much to say about you and much to condemn, but the one who sent me is true, and I declare to the world what I have heard from him." They did not understand that he was speaking to them about the Father. So Jesus said, "When you have lifted up the Son of Man, then you will realize that I am he, and that I do nothing on my own, but I speak these things as the Father instructed me. And the one who sent me is with me. He has not left me alone, for I always do what is pleasing to him." As he was saying these things, many believed in him. In the Gospel reading this morning, Jesus says, "When you have lifted up the Son of Man, then you will know that I am he." Jesus is declaring that it is only when he is lifted up on the cross that people will see him for who he really is, the revelation of God's love for the world. Jesus was God in human form, God's love in human form, and that identity of Jesus is most evident when he is lifted up on the cross. The crucifix has become the dominant symbol of Christianity, not because Christians glamorize suffering, but because we recognize Christ crucified as the revelation of God's love for the world. Jesus was sent by God to proclaim God's love for the world. He was faithful to that proclamation, even when it became clear that it would cost him his life. As a result, his death became an even more powerful proclamation of God's love for the world than his life had been. St. Paul tells us that every time we gather to celebrate the Eucharist, we proclaim the Lord's death, the Lord's love for the world, for each of us. Through the Eucharist, the Lord's love for the world becomes present to us in a very tangible and very personal way. We are sent out from the Eucharist to make that love of God tangible for others.